If you got a new camera and you want it to work with you, then stick with me on this video. I'm going to give you 4 ways to configure your camera so it works with you, not against you. The first setting is going to be setting your date and time. Yeah, something simple. But if you go to look for your photos later and they're in different folders with the wrong date and time, you may not be able to find the right photos. So I'm going to go down in the corner down here and let's take a look at how to set your date and time. I'm going to be using my Canon R6. Every camera has a date and time. Trust me, find the setting and let's configure it. So down we go. Once you find the date and time screen, it's actually pretty simple. Find the month, figure out how to turn it on, which dial to move it, change it to the correct month. Once you got the correct month chosen, then go to the day of the week. Pretty easy, or the day of the month rather. You set that, pick the correct year, 2026, yes, Happy New Year if you just got here, and set the time correctly. Once you have the time set, you can get the different date format down below if you like. I'm going to skip all the way down to the sun. All the sun is for is daylight savings time. Turn that on or off as you like. And the next setting is going to be what time zone you're in. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm going to look for New York. Once I find New York, I will select New York and we will put New York in. So there we go. That's a 5-hour time offset, and we'll click OK, and we have our date and time set. So that was the first setting. The next one we're going to talk about image quality. Image quality is important. You'll have people tell you to shoot in RAW. RAW is the best format to shoot in. You can recover this, you can do that. If you're editing photos, RAW is awesome. If you're just using it for social media or you're sharing it with your family and friends, JPEG is fine. I shoot professionally a lot of times, and a lot of times JPEG is what I need. I do a photo shoot with Santa for the pet shelter, and I do it in JPEG because I'm not going to edit them. I am going to print them on site and they walk away with a photo. So JPEG sometimes is right. So let's take a look at the settings for that. Again, I am going to send my picture down here in the corner and we will look at JPEG and RAW. So I'm on the back of my camera and you can see I am on the menu for image quality, and I will click that button. When I open that up, you're going to see a couple of options. Now my camera has 2 cards, so I can set one card to JPEG and one card to RAW. You typically, on maybe a Canon T7i or T8, you're only going to have one card. You can set it to JPEG and RAW or to just JPEG. Now you'll notice there are several different settings on the JPEGs. You could have a large JPEG all the way down to a very small JPEG. Don't go to the smallest size, you're not going to like it. The largest JPEG will fit on social media, so just stick with that unless you have some other driving need that's going to take you off that higher setting. So drive mode is the third thing we're going to talk about. Don't get concerned about the name drive mode. All it means is when I push the shutter button, how fast are the photos going to happen? Is it going to just take one and be done? That's one shot. Is it going to do burst mode? And there's multiple burst modes. Then you have an option for a timer and an option for a remote shutter release. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the back of my camera, my Canon R6. Back to the corner. So here we are on the back of my camera. I'm going to push the Q button to turn on the orange highlight. I am going to pick my shooting mode, my drive mode, and right now it's on single shot. And you can see I have 3 options for some different burst modes. And you might wonder, why do I have different burst modes? Well, some are faster than the others, and we'll come back to that in a second. The last 2 icons, the second to the last one is a remote release where you got it tethered to your camera, and the last one is a timer. The reason you have multiple burst modes is if you buy an inexpensive memory card, it may not be able to keep up with your fastest burst mode. So don't cheap out on memory cards. They're really not that expensive. Get one that can write at decent speed so that you can use your fastest burst mode you have on the back of your camera. If you're getting value out of this, like and subscribe. Appreciate it. So let's talk about the last one. This is the most important one. Where's my camera? We're going to talk about this small little dial right here. This dial. I'll put a picture of what the dial looks like. You have several things to think about on that dial. Let's not get overwhelmed with all the different characters and different things that are on it. Yours may have different ones. Canon have different letter associations than Sony and Nikon and whatnot. Automatic is pretty obvious. It's going to do the shutter, the ISO, and the aperture for you. It's also going to bring up the flash if you have one, if it needs it. So that's what automatic is. Nothing wrong with that, and feel free to use it. Another mode that I hear a lot of people use, I never use this one. To me, it was too hard to understand compared to some of the other modes. That's P, or program mode. Now, one of the benefits of program mode, it's kind of like automatic, but you don't get the flash unless you turn the flash on manually. You have to pop it up yourself. So that's great if you're in a museum. That's probably about the only use I can think of on P mode. The other settings that we're going to get to, not today, but we will get to them, is aperture priority and shutter priority. The other thing I want you to look for is ISO to see if it's an automatic. By default, if you get it out of the box, it's brand new, it most likely is on automatic. If you want your camera to do some work for you, automatic, it will take care of the ISO for you if you've got that set, but it's different than that mode dial. You need to find that ISO setting. If you use any of the other settings, again, make sure the ISO is in the proper setting. So like I said, to begin this video, hopefully these aren't over-intimidating or overwhelming, but the 4 things I have you set. Let's fix the camera date and time. Let's set whether it's JPEG or RAW. Let's set the drive mode of how we're going to take photos. And finally, which mode are you going to use when you go to take photos? Once you got those ironed out, you're ready to hit the field. So this is Doug Gabbard, practicing photography, getting better 1 photo at a time.